But for real, I think, just bringing it to a close this morning, everything that you've seen this morning, everything that we've heard together, this incredible innovation that we've demonstrated, it's really just the beginning, if you really think about it. The early innings of these groundbreaking developments that are happening in the application framework are super exciting. And the best innovation is going to come from everywhere. It's going to come from application developers. It's going to come from partners, systems integrators. It's going to come from people right here in this room. And I'm really excited about what's going to happen when we see hundreds of apps on the application framework. And it's got to happen because you deserve it. Customers deserve to have more efficient, more easily consumed security in a much more cost-effective way and much, much better security outcomes. But for this to work, we really have to work together as a community. Public sector, private sector, enterprise, service provider. We got to stay ahead of that very organized adversary, highly funded adversary. The lines between criminal enterprise and state-sponsored are definitely blurring. And it's just so heartening to hear Mark's update on the Cyber Threat Alliance. That just was a glimmer in our eyes 6 years ago when we weren't relevant enough to set it up. But setting it up 5 years ago, 17 members now, really sharing threat intelligence as a unified cyber community. And today, we've also worked really hard in the last several years, Rick Howard and his CISO organization, to work on bilateral threat sharing agreements with governments around the world, with NATO, federal governments, and the EU, and Asia-Pac and Japan. I mean, this is a real demonstration of how we're working together in this with an open and collaborative mindset that really is going to change the game, because we sure know that our adversaries are working together to do what they do with us. And we've got to do this to protect our way of life in the digital age. And the interest in building apps on our framework, as you heard from Lee, just super exciting. It's just overwhelming. Now is the time. You got to ask your vendors, ask your partners, why aren't you building an app on the Palo Alto Networks application framework? I think it's a very good question, and please do it now. So developers, entrepreneurs, partners, customers, bring your great ideas, bring them forward, submit them online, and watch your success skyrocket, because this is the way that security innovation has to be consumed. You and your customers, students, parents, children, families, are going to be the beneficiaries. But now I really want to talk about something that is even bigger, something that's very aligned with our mission, something that comes straight from the DNA of Palo Alto Networks. Almost every day, whether it's in our EBC or traveling around the world, I get the privilege of visiting customers, talking about best practices around cybersecurity. And I always like to bring up three basic elements that need to happen. Number one, of course, you have to invest in the best tech, the best platform, the best architecture. We all know who that is. Number two, you've got to invest in your operators, the people that are going to use this infrastructure. And this is an ongoing commitment that the companies have to make. You've got to invest in these people so that they can leverage best practices around compliance, around patching, around operational efficiency. And number three, you've got to build security into the DNA of your business, of your company, or your government entity. You've got to educate every employee, every single one. Teach them about cyber hygiene, and then test them, and then test them again. I think that's the best practice, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. And this is not only for business. Cybersecurity knowledge is really for all of us, as I said. Friends, families, average consumers, frankly, anyone that's connected to the internet. We all share a responsibility in this community to invest in tomorrow and to contribute developing a cyber-savvy society. We all heard from McLaughlin this morning about this notion, this exciting notion of the cyber moonshot. I mean, just imagine if we could make the internet safe in 10 years. Imagine what that might mean to your families. And one key element of this, near and dear to my heart, is education. That's why we're investing so much in cyber education for the young, the old, really no matter what your experience or skill level. This is something that we've been working on for a while. Last year at Ignite, up on the main stage, in my opening keynote, I had the privilege of standing here with Sylvia Aceveda, the CEO of the Girl Scouts of America, to announce a partnership to develop the first ever cybersecurity badge curriculum for girls in grades K through 12. And our teams in that last year have been working really hard designing and testing the activities for badges that are going to spark interest in cybersecurity for generations to come. This is that leverage that Mark was talking about. So what do you think? Don't these look great? Yep, right here. So just honored to announce these are the first 9 cybersecurity badges. They're going to be applied towards kids that are in kindergarten through grade 5. They're going to be available for the school term this fall. And next year, we'll finish the remaining 9 badges, and we'll be well on our way. You know, someday, these young women that come from every neighborhood, that come from every income strata and background, they may choose to pursue a career in cybersecurity, and we need them. We need them to be like Karen or Liat that we heard this morning from. In addition to the Girl Scouts, 4 years ago, we started our very own Cybersecurity Academy program. This is something I'm also really proud of. We're partnering with colleges, universities, polytechnics around the world to make cyber education available to everyone. We donate equipment, we train the trainers, the professors, we help them build a curriculum. And today, our academy has grown to over 333 institutions around the world. We're helping these schools graduate students that have real-world skills that are employable right away and obviously in high demand. And it's just an incredible collection of institutions in every geographic theater. Of course, you'll see some really prestigious universities up there. But we've also intentionally worked to engage with local community colleges that specialize in hands-on learning. For example, last week, I had the amazing privilege of going out to Foothill College, which is this beautiful campus set up against the Los Altos Hills near our headquarters. And I sat in on their 6th week of their cybersecurity class, and it was really cool. You had a professor at the top, Professor Tim Ryan. We had a bunch of students on Zoom, a bunch of students in the classroom. They were asking questions online with chat and audio, and the people in the class were very interactive. It was just so inspiring. I got to put my hands together for Professor Ryan and his classmates. Cheers. Because we believe everyone should have access to this type of education. Can you think of an institution in your neighborhood that would be a good fit for the academy? If you can, ping me, manderson@paloaltonetworks.com. Because at Palo Alto Networks, we like to think big. 333 is a good start, but how do we get to 3,000 or 30,000 schools? Because that's what the world needs, and this is the long-term mission. In addition to this, we're engaging in much more than just curriculum sharing. Our Cybersecurity Academy really acts as a hub. We're developing core relationships with institutions that are doing amazing work to drive cyber awareness from children in grades K through 12 in many communities. And just a great example, in my home country up in Canada, in British Columbia, the Richmond School District just finished training 26 facilitators a few weeks ago, and they're ready to launch their cybersecurity program. Over 900 high school students. Think about that, 900 high school students are registered for the fall. So the demand is massive. And across British Columbia in 2018 and 2019, we'll be launching this across the entire province. So the interest is absolutely motivating. We've also partnered in a separate way with a nonprofit to help develop a cybersecurity career guide for middle schoolers. It looks like a kind of a very fancy comic book. It just shows young men and young women in different roles than they may have been exposed to in the past. And I'd really like, if you get a chance to go to the expo, pick one of these up from our education booth, just to see the creativity that's involved there, just to give our kids some great examples about a career that they may pursue down the road. Get them started early. But our mission really doesn't end in higher education or in K through 12. We're also retraining professionals looking to develop second careers. Cybersecurity, helping teams, with their own experiential learning. We have a couple of tools for that. One example that I'm really proud of as well is Vets in Tech. Each year we train about 40 to 50 vets every quarter to help them get their ACE certification. I just had the amazing experience of joining one of their sessions, and it really was motivating. This organization provides opportunities for veterans to learn more about cybersecurity. We also work with them just to really help them translate the leadership skills and the technical skills that they've learned in the military so that they can apply into day-to-day business skills. It really is humbling to see these young men and women that are now retired from the military. I just think of them as patriots. Because of men and women like this, we get to walk around free. And I'm really also proud about our Cyber Range program. We're working with teams to help them work together to protect against attacks in real-life scenarios as well as simulations. It's so popular. The four cyber ranges that we built around the world are book solid. You got to check out, if you haven't already, in the expo, the cyber range that we set up there. It'll blow your mind. It is really, really cool. So these examples are really just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many interactive ways to drive awareness and build a cyber-savvy society, as I said, through education. But again, we're really just getting started. And of course, we can't do any of this by ourselves. So today, I'm really honored to bring a few people up on the stage to give some examples here. First of all, I'd like to invite the team from Bismarck State College and the CIO of the state of North Dakota. Bismarck, for those of you who don't know, Bismarck State College will soon deliver a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in cybersecurity and computer networking, and it'll be available online globally for anybody to consume. And cyber, as I've learned in the last few years in North Dakota, is a massive focus. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear from their governor, Doug Burgum. Can we roll the video, please?
Greetings from North Dakota. We're seeking new ways to harness technology to fulfill our mission to empower people, improve lives, and inspire success. We're exploring opportunities in our educational system to be more innovative, to integrate STEAM and IT curricula into our K-20 classrooms, and to lay a foundation that will help our students succeed in a highly competitive global economy. As a state, North Dakota views the security of our citizens' tax, health, and education information as absolutely essential to our collective future. That's why we're rising to the challenge by creating a comprehensive statewide approach to cybersecurity. North Dakota's Chief Information Officer, Sean Riley, and his team are building North Dakota's mission control for the Cyber Moonshot. We are creating a future that meets industry needs across both the public and private sectors and provides career opportunities for students and adult learners.
We've remained responsive to the times and the needs around us, and ensuring that every student, whether a veteran, traditional student, or incumbent worker, has access to programs that reflect high-demand fields. Cybersecurity certainly is that.
That's why this partnership with Palo Alto Networks is so critical. It builds on the strong foundation that Bismarck State College has established with their 2-year, 4-year, and certificate programs.
For many years, Bismarck State College has educated employees for vital roles in a number of industries. From healthcare to energy, our graduates are trusted to do good work in key positions. With this partnership, we can serve those industries even more fully, ensuring not only their workforce, but also their cybersecurity.
We look forward to a strong and lasting partnership. Thank you, and enjoy the conference.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Governor Burgum, and I'd like to welcome up Dr. Larry Scogan, President of Bismarck State College, and Sean Riley, CIO for the state of North Dakota. Gentlemen, Sean, good to see you.
Thank you.
Larry, how you doing? Yeah. That's pretty inspirational. Really, really cool. So let me ask you, Sean, it's just a privilege to have both of you here, and really, it seems like in in North Dakota, cyber is a big deal. It's not necessarily something that we would think about for the state of North Dakota, but what is it with the big focus on cyber? There we go.
There we go. So as you just heard from the governor, the safety and the security of the data of our citizens is absolutely paramount. When we add to that the state of North Dakota has had one of the fastest growing economies in the country for the last 18 years, and in the last few years has increased its GDP by 44%, and you consider what the threat is from cyber, it only makes sense to be able to create a new vision and tackle this a whole new way.
You bet. But I'd love to hear what your ultimate goal here is. The CIO for the entire state, what are you thinking?
So we've been calling this the mission control for the Cyber Moonshot for North Dakota, but in short, it is every student, every school, cyber educated. Kindergarten through PhD, across the board. And Bismarck State College is going to be one of those cornerstones for us to be able to get that done.
Oh, we'd certainly love to partner with you to help make that happen. So Larry, looked really good in the video. Let's talk about what you're looking to accomplish with this incredibly cool mission.
Well, our strength has been in our ability to develop highly technical programs and deliver them completely online, anywhere in the country. And what our focus has been is on energy. Nuclear power, electrical generation, transmission, distribution, all highly technical, and we deliver them online, everywhere in the country. Right now, if we followed this electricity back, you're going to find some Bismarck State College graduates someplace. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the knowledge that we've developed in doing that and those skill sets and move to cybersecurity, because energy is a very slim industry. Now, well, we can move, cyber's in every industry, and so we're going to take that same skill set and we're going to be able to educate all those folks in the workforce because we can do it online, globally, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant, and it's a much broader focus. So this really aligns with our mission and certainly the Cyber Moonshot that we talked about. Obviously, both of you guys are really passionate about this. You know, what drives you personally to make this happen?
You want to go?
For me, it comes from going to a second grade class a few months ago, and I go in this class and I see these kids who are about this tall working in robotics, programming software, building code, and we think about this and I go, there's 200,000 more kids like that in the state. These kids are going to be building things we haven't even thought of yet. And for the legacy that they're going to be having in that 21st century workforce, we need to be able to create a secure environment for them. We need to create an environment that really pushes them forward. Yeah. And that's where I get my passion from.
I bet. Larry, how about yourself?
Mark, we're passionate about this because, as Mark mentioned this morning, Karen mentioned this morning, we really believe that the whole cyber issue, whether it's cyber crime or cyber terrorism, whatever it is, threatens our very way of life. And we know that we can bring a skill set to this battle, and this is a war, a cyber war, and we know that we can bring our skill set. We're very proud to be able to partner with Palo Alto Networks, and we want to be the combat training command to get all these foot soldiers out there working on this issue and working all together.
Well, fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for what you do. Really appreciate the partnership.
Thank you.
Sean,
thanks, sir.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Big round of applause. Yeah, I think it's really cool when you find others in our community that share this incredibly passionate mission. And my next guest is making a difference right here in Southern California. Mario's a full-time IT practitioner at the Los Angeles Community College District. He's also a founding board member of our Fuel user group. He's been at, I think this is his 6th Ignite as well. He's building a 2-year cybersecurity program here in LA that was just blessed by the state, and students are already starting to enroll. So please welcome up to the stage Mr. Mario Perez. Hey, Mario.
All right.
Good to see you, man. So, Los Angeles is really different from North Dakota, as I think we can all agree. So give us a sense for the students that you serve.
First, let's start it. LA Community College District is one of the biggest districts in the United States.
Yeah.
So over the last 77 years, we've been serving close to 3.5 million students.
Jeez.
Out of those 3.5, 80% are underserved students. So what does that tell you? Most of them are here for training, looking for a job. Not only a job, but a steady job that's gonna help them to support their family.
I bet. So I imagine there's challenges for technical educations like this, but I'd love to hear like what you're teaching them. What are they learning as well?
Most of the students on the program, they are not only training on the basic skills, but when they finish our program, they're coming out with a certification.
Yep.
We are some of the top industry certification, either the Network Plus, Security Plus, and that helped them to secure the job once they're graduated from our campuses.
I bet. That's just incredible. You know, I think the opportunity to serve the people that you're doing here in Los Angeles must be really a thing that makes you feel great about yourself. I'm really proud of what you do, and it's just it's an honor to know you. So thank you very much, Mario.
Mark.
Cheers. Yep. And finally, the National Center for Women and Information Technology, or NCWIT, focuses on increasing women's meaningful participation in technology. This is a research-based organization. It's really making a distinct impact, and it's funded by the National Science Foundation. We partner with Palo Alto Networks very closely with NCWIT. It's my distinct honor to welcome up here onto the stage, you have Dr. Cheryl Fink, Senior Advisor for Corporate Engagement. Cheryl, welcome.
How are you?
Great to see you. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Well, great. So what does research show about trying to get women to join technology in general, or even cyber? It seems like there's fewer and fewer people in cyber today. I mean, love to get your perspective on why that's happening.
I think for women in particular, you have to think about from the time you are very small to the time you enter the workforce. So it's a matter of, am I aware of cybersecurity as a future for me? Can I encourage, do I receive encouragement from people, and do I have a sense of belonging? And as I think about that, awareness comes from the things that you're doing with Girl Scouts.
Yep.
Right away, I'm aware that this is a career that I can pursue. I think with encouragement, you know that phrase, if you can see it, you can be it?
Yeah.
And I think Karen talked about that today when she said, I was able to see Angelina Jolie save the world, right? And that inspiration is really important where you can see that. She was also probably encouraged by parents who let her get a hold of their computer.
Exactly.
And play with it. So that's very important. And finally, that sense of belonging, which you are creating at Palo Alto Networks, but we know that in the workforce, it is hard to retain women. They need an environment that supports and encourages their innovation, their contributions. And today, out of all cybersecurity jobs, 1 in 10 are held by women. So we'd like to see more of that, and you are wonderful partners to work with us on that.
Yeah, well, inclusion and diversity is really important to us at Palo Alto Networks, and certainly personally to me as well. I'd love to get, maybe you can tell the group here, what are we doing together?
So together, we are going to be leveraging several things that we know are very important. 45% of all undergraduates in the United States start out in or have community college experience. NCWIT built a high school program called Counselors for Computing that works with 1,500 counselors throughout the United States to help them create awareness for kids in high school about computing jobs. We're going to take that program into community colleges with Palo Alto Networks and take that to those community college counselors and people who can influence people. The other thing we'll be doing, and very excited about this, is the Aspirations in Computing Award for our 10,000 girls and women in that group. We'll now have a new Cybersecurity Award for girls in high school.
Oh, fantastic.
That will be sponsored by PAN.
Outstanding. Well, I can't thank you enough for what you do, Cheryl. It's really a pleasure to partner with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cheryl Flink, ladies and gentlemen. So just closing out, folks, supporting cybersecurity education, it's an investment. But we all have to push for much stronger commitment. We got to do it everywhere. So if you think about the impact that we can make on this community, whether it's your home community or our cybersecurity community, having conversations with your children, your nieces, your nephews, your friends about how to be safe online and about cyber hygiene, just think of the role that each of you can play in building a cyber-savvy society as a key step to making the internet safe in the next decade. So join us in this journey as we kick off Ignite 2018. I'd like to thank you for sticking around, and have a great week here in Anaheim. So thank you very much again. Let's go Palo Alto Networks.